So here's one of my online clients, and as you can see on the left hand side, you'll see that he was coming around the baseball, he was hitting ground balls, he was rolling over, and that was due to him lunging forward on his front foot. And I'll show you that one more time. So this frustrated him and his family because he was having poor performance, and his dad didn't want him to fall behind the pack. So they went online searching through YouTube videos. They have a private instructor, and the instructor wasn't helping them because right when he would get in the game, he would end up doing the same thing. So they end up reaching out, and they joined my online coaching program. And here's what he looks like now. As you can see, he's more balanced. He's staying into his lower half. He's not lunging forward. And you can see him squaring baseballs up much harder. He's hitting the ball farther. And he just turned his swing into a very, very good swing. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 keys, steps, and drills we did to stop him from lunging on his front foot, causing a very, very bad swing, to now he's staying balanced. He can see the ball much more clear. He's making more solid contact. He's way more consistent, and he's driving the baseball. And his dad even said that in their testimonial. And if you're watching this, you already know about the testimonial. So with that said, let's jump into it. So the first key is being soft on your front foot. The swing works from the ground up, meaning that the swing is like the foundation of a home. If the foundation is rocky or unstable, then the home comes crashing down. Okay, and it's similar to that when you're swinging, meaning if you're lunging on your front foot, your swing won't even work. Your swing's going to be choppy around the baseball. You're not going to be inside it. You're not going to make solid contact. So we really need to work on the lower half, and a lot of people don't understand that. So the first drill is to work on that. And just to give you a finish point of what we're trying to work on, or a goal, what we're trying to work on, Barry Bonds told me that as a hitter, you want to stay in a phone booth. And if you think about that for a second, if you're staying in a phone booth, you're not moving your eyes too much. You're staying in one place, and your body is just basically stable, right? So that's what we're trying to do. And so one of the drills he recommended me was this drill, and how he went about it was he came to me and he said, hey, what's the difference between a bat and a glove? And I was like, well, the bat, you're supposed to hit the ball. And he goes, no, you're supposed to do the same thing with both items. You're trying to catch the baseball with the bat, and you're trying to catch the baseball with your glove. You're doing the same exact thing. You're just holding 2 different objects. And I had never heard that before. And from that day on, I always imagine myself catching the baseball when I'm hitting, as opposed to trying to hit it. And this drill allows you to do that. So the first drill we're doing is the catch drill. And as you can see, it's getting him really, really soft on his front foot. And his dad is throwing him the ball, and they're in the backyard. And as you can see, he's working the proper mechanics. He's really, really soft on his front foot, and then he's just catching it, and he's continuing through it. But again, that was an outside pitch, and he couldn't even hit that before. But why is he able to catch it, but he's not able to hit it in the game? Well, now doing this drill, he's able to hit it because he's forcing himself to let the ball travel, because that's the only way to catch it. So it teaches you the point of contact, inside, middle, and outside. And it works the proper mechanics in hitting, because again, to catch the ball, and you've probably been catching as long as I have, catching the ball as long as I have, when you catch it, you don't go out to get it, you receive it, right? And that's the same thing you're doing here, is you're just letting the ball come to you. And so you're teaching your body to just sit back and wait. And you see right here, look at his body. You see how he just sits back? There's no transfer going on to his front foot. He's sitting in his lower half. His hips are stable, or his lower half stable. The weight distribution is pretty much even, and then he's just catching it. Okay, and I love this drill. It's one of my go-to drills because it teaches you the strike zone. And you can see, just follow his eyes. See how he's really letting the ball, come to him, and then he's following the ball all the way in. all the way in. So he's watching it, right? So if you have a kid who turns their head off the baseball, this is a great drill for them, because it's going to teach them to start tracking the baseball all the way in to the barrel, right? And I always say this with my players, when I'm coaching them, it's like, can you see the barrel hit the ball? That means you caught it. A lot of times you're hitting the ball and you don't even see the ball hit the barrel. But this drill forces you to track it all the way in, which is going to teach you the strike zone, which means you're going to get better pitches to hit because you're learning the strike zone, and you're not lunging forward, and you're staying in that phone booth. And there's just so many benefits to this drill, and I highly recommend you do it as often as you possibly can, just to learn it. Now, here's a tip for you, okay? Because I send this off to my online students, because I'm not working with them one-on-one. These players are actually in California, and I'm in Nashville, Tennessee right now, but I work with them pretty often to, help them hit the ball more consistently. So, but one of the things I want to say is that a lot of people, when I tell them to do this drill, what they do is they start to try to catch it with the palm like that, and the palm is pointed towards the pitcher. Okay, now you want to go down to it like that with the palm pointing to the pitcher, but then you'll see right here his glove starts to turn over. And if you think about the bat, you're going down to it, and then the flexion point, the barrel starts to turn over, and then it starts to work slightly upwards through it, with the hands being above the barrel, and that allows you to hit more line drives and basically hit more gappers, hit the ball in the gap. So you want to catch it with that palm up, as you can see right here. See how that palm starts to point up towards the sky, and then he just continues through it. So it also works at extension correctly through it, and it's teaching the top hand, which controls the barrel and creates the path of the swing, to start going towards the baseball, which is very, very important if you're trying to hit, because the top hand controls the barrel and creates the path of the swing. So that right there is the first drill that I recommend. And again, keeping that palm up, pointed right down the flexion point when it starts turning over, and the palm of it is pointing to the sky. Now, he's using the pancake glove, and I really do recommend that for younger players, because you're supposed to use the actual glove. So you buy a lefty glove if for a right-handed hitter, and you'll buy a righty's glove for a left-handed hitter. But I would just recommend a pancake glove, because it's the best alternative, just because it allows you to continue to swing through it. A lot of kids, when I tell them to catch it, they stop their swing. Now, that's good to let the ball travel. You do that maybe a few times before you start doing a full swing, as you see here. Just catch it and just let the ball come all the way in. You stride and just see it all the way in the strike zone, keeping the shoulder square towards the pitcher, and you just catch it. That's great, phenomenal, and I actually do that with my kids. But we want them to actually take a swing too. So, sometimes when you have the glove on their hand, all they're trying to focus on is just catching it, and then they don't continue through it, or it looks real awkward where they go catch, and then they try to continue through it. So it's like really, really awkward. But if you're using the pancake glove, what you can do is you can continue through it. So it's a simple drill that they can do, and that's what we want. We want them to continue through it. And this ball, as you can see, is like, if that was a pitch he was going to hit, that was a line drive right there. He just squared that ball up, because look at the angle off of his glove. Okay, boom, nice. And he drove that to right center. He stayed inside of it. So that is drill number one, and then the focus of that is training the body to stay still and let the ball come to you. And you do that with the catch drill. Now, the second key I'm going to talk to you about is the hips and the hands. Okay, the hips are very, very important. Like I said, everything works from the ground up. So when I'm looking over a kid's swing, I'm looking at their hips, I'm looking at their lower half. Now I look at I first look at their lower half, and I look at their hips, and I look at their shoulders. Those are the 3 key points, because whatever you're doing with your lower half, the swing follows. Okay, so this drill right here, and I learned this from Troy Gloss. I was lunging, I was opening my front hip too early, I was rolling over, I was doing, I was in my head about my swing. And he came to me, and I know him because he went to UCLA. I went to UCLA as well. He just went a few years before me, quite a few years. And then also he, his last few years, he was with the St. Louis Cardinals, and I was drafted by the Cardinals. And so we got to build a connection, a friendship. And this is one of the drills that he recommended me, and I added it to my routine, and I just went uphill, just start hammering baseballs. Okay, and I'll explain why in a second. But back to what we're working on here is we're working on our hips and our lower half, and this drill forces you to have that weight distribution evenly in your lower half and in your hips. So this is called the Troy Gloss drill because he showed it to me. And then and basically what you're going to do is you're going to get close to this drill and close to the tee, as close as you can to the tee, and your whole goal is to hit a line drive up the middle. Okay, and that is working proper swing mechanics if you can do this. Okay, now if you can't, if this ball is going over here, then you're opening that front hip open, and we don't want that, and that's the reason why you're struggling to hit an outside pitch. This swing teaches you how to hit the inside pitch correctly. And I know you guys are like, well, you're supposed to hit the inside pitch and it's going to left center. Well, what you do is, if you do this drill correctly, if you can hit this ball right up the middle, then all you do is take a step back and you stay trying to work up the middle, and this ball is naturally going to get to the left center gap the right way, right? So this drill works the proper mechanics to hitting. Okay, so again, what you're going to do is you place the tee and you get as close as you possibly can. And as you can see right here, look what happens. See how so tight it is, and see how he's pulling his hands in, and he's keeping that front hip closed as long as he can, and he's not opening it up too soon, and he's fighting and he's pulling his hands in, pulls his hands in, and then driving this ball right up the middle. Okay, and as you can see here, look what his hips are doing. His hips are even. Okay, before his hips were pointing slightly down. It's because all the weight we're lunging on that front foot. But in this drill, since the thing is so close, since the tee is so close, it forces the weight to be 50-50. Evenly distributed in his lower half. This allows him to get his best swing off to the baseball. It's going to make you more consistent, more you're going to get your A swing off as often as you possibly can. Now, I really like this drill because, again, it straightens out the lower half, but I also like this drill because it pulls your hands in. Okay, look what his hands are doing. Since it's so tight, his hands start to go back, and the load starts to work properly. Now, I mean, we're working on this right here, which you don't see it now, but like that was another thing I was working on him with, was his load, because you see how he's getting a little bat rappy, which you don't want to do. But if you look at the before and afters, he doesn't do this because we worked on that. But in the next drill, I'll explain how we worked on it. But it gets you to start focusing on getting your hands back, because it feels like it's underneath this elbow. So you're pulling everything back, and then that knob gets pointed to the catcher. Now, going back to the lunging part of it, your front foot goes out, your hands go back. This creates balance. Okay. Now, a lot of times with a lot of kids, they stride out, and then their hands come with their body. So then that forces you to be off balance, because everything is moving forward, right? And you want your stride to go out, and you want your hands to go back. Now that creates the weight distribution in your body that's even, so that you can get off your best swing. And what this drill does, it gets them to stride. You see the weight distribution in his lower half is 50-50. It's not too much weight on the backside. It's not too much weight on the front foot. But look at his hands start going back, okay? This creates balance in his body, which allows him to get his A swing off, okay? And, as a hitter, we want to get as many A swings as we possibly can. It's not going to be like that if for these kids, 100 swings a season. Let's just say you're taking 100 at bats. You're probably going to get 10 to 15 like A swings, and then you'll have your B swing and your C swing. Those are your base hits. Your A swings, that when you drive in the gaps. Okay, but we're trying to create our A swing, and we're trying to get it off as often as we possibly can. And this drill helps you to do that, because again, look what his hips do. Look what his lower half does. Front foot starts to hit the ground. Look how his lower half did. It's almost like he's sitting in his lower half, and he's stable. He's staying in that phone booth. His hands are back, and that creates balance in his lower half and his whole body. And then he's bringing his hands in, and it's real tight. Look how tight his hands are in here. Very, very, very tight. And he pulls his hands in, and he drives this baseball right up the middle. Okay, perfect. That's what we want right there. Again, if you pull this ball over here, you're opening that front hip too early. Or if you pound into the ground, you're lunging on your front foot. But this will clean that up just because of where the tee is. They have nowhere to go. They have to stay in that same position. They have to stay in the phone booth. Okay, so those are the first two drills that is part of your plan to fix your lunging issue. And then I'm going to share with you the third one right now. So the third and final drill is the full extension drill. And the point of this drill is for point of contact, swing plane, and just getting your hands to go back. Okay, so let me show you in real time what this looks like. So as you can see, you're isolating the lower half, and you're opening up about 45 degrees, and you're going to load the hands back. Now, again, we were working on this. If you look at his swing now, he doesn't do this, but this is one of the drills that we focused on, was getting him to load the knob to the catcher and the barrel above the head correctly, so that he can get on path with the ball and drive through it. So what I like about this drill, and why it works into the lunging issue, is because the point of contact, sometimes when you're lunging on your front foot, your point of contact's too early or it's too late. So I wanted to bring it to that perfect part of the zone. And if we look right here, he loads back and he starts getting into the zone right here. Okay, so now he's starting to enter into the zone. And then this right here is a perfect point of contact, which is about where his front foot would be on stride. And that's where those balls where he's going to hit line drives and extra base hits is going to be. So I wanted to work on that, but I also want to basically build his swing path. And the way you're doing that is you're getting in the zone here, and then you're extending through it. So if we look at this, he can hit a line drive from here all the way to here. So that right there is catching the baseball. That's just not hitting it. That's catching it. Okay, and that's what we want. And if you're a kid that's struggling to stay inside the baseball, look how he's pulling his hands in. Okay, look how tight he is. He's pulling his hands in, and then he's working through it. Proper extension over that shoulder. Okay, and I love that. So those are the three keys right there. Point of contact, getting the hands back. Again, if that front foot starts striding and the hand starts going back, let me go back. So that front foot strides and those hands go back here. That creates even distribution in this lower half and his whole body, which creates balance, and that allows him to get this swing off right here, which is his A swing, where he's going to hit more line drives. Okay, so those right there are the 3 keys to fixing your lunging issue. Just a quick recap: it's your front foot, your hips, and your hands, and your point of contact. Okay, I know that I only said 3, but it's a mixture. I mean, it's pretty much 3. Just added another one, which is the hands. Okay, and I think they're important as well. So that right there are the things to help you. And if you do the Troy Gloss drill, it'll naturally work your hands. So that's why I didn't add it as far as one of the keys. You'll just naturally do it just because of where the T is set up. Okay, and then this drill is forcing you to load properly and get that full extension through the baseball, which is going to allow us to drive the baseball. And then the catch drill keeps us from lunging because it lets the ball come to us. It trains us to let everything come to us, and that's going to allow us to basically see the ball better and make more solid contact. So those right there are the 3 keys. And if you want me to help your son, I can look over their swing, break down their swing. I can help you guys take your swing to the next level, as I did with this and many other kids across the country. Link is below. With that said, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you soon.